great. And as to the first question that was asked, I can feel, watching those young people, I can feel a brand new day, yes. And that's a perfect entry point for what we're going to talk about tonight. So thank you again to Center Stage, the Teen Musical Ensemble. That was really fantastic. And thank you also to our young volunteers, who I hope you met on the way in, from Squash Haven, from Fairfield Prep, and from high school in the community who are helping us out. We appreciate that very much. So what a great crowd this is, and what a great evening. More than 400 people registered for tonight's event, which is a new record for a community foundation annual meeting, and we are deeply gratified that you all are here. You honor us with your interest in our work and with your presence here tonight. And most importantly, I think you honor one another, and you honor this place that we call home by your commitment to this community. So we are so proud at the foundation to be your fellow travelers in doing the work of building a stronger community. And we want to hear from you tonight. As has become our tradition at these convenings, we want to know what inspires you as you learn more tonight about the educational challenges and progress in our community and in our state. So there will be opportunities at the conclusion of the program to write down your thoughts at the back of the room. And to further engage the community, tonight's proceedings are being live blogged. Where are our bloggers? In the back. By Paul Bass of the New Haven Independent, by Norma Rodriguez-Reyes of La Voz Hispana, and by Angie Carter of the New Haven Register. So thank you to the three of them as well. Clearly, the issues around which we gather this evening, the education of the young people in our community, are at the center of this community's agenda. And I think the crowd in this room tells that story. And just as clearly, our special guest tonight, Connecticut's Education Commissioner Stephen Pryor, is a huge draw, as befitting his singular leadership role as our state boldly confronts and addresses our serious and enduring educational challenges. So Stephen, thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you for all you do, and we look forward to your comments in a few moments. But it is equally clear to me that something more is at work here. As we gather tonight, we are at a unique moment of opportunity for educational change in our city and in our state. We are witness, I believe, to an extraordinary, indeed an unprecedented, unity of purpose in our community. This community has declared, through its deeds, if not its words, that our highest priority is enhanced student achievement in our schools and through college. And there is a hopefulness about this declaration, born, I believe, from a growing sense that New Haven School Change, the New Haven School Change Initiative, is addressing itself to the core issues that affect academic outcomes. Issues like how schools are managed, how instructional and administrative talent is evaluated and developed, how learning can be enhanced, and how parents and families can be more fully engaged. Others, too, outside of our community, share this view and this hopefulness. New Haven School Change has attracted much national attention, and as of last month, has attracted major financial support from the Obama administration, which of course is deeply encouraging. At the same time, this unity of purpose extends even more broadly. Employment opportunity and regional economic growth, there is a new and deeper recognition of how inextricably those goals are tied to stronger education, both at the state level, with the creation of the Connecticut Council on Education Reform, and at the local level, as seen in the jobs pipeline work undertaken this year by an all too rare coalition of leading businesses and institutional employers, unions, elected officials, and funders, and chaired by George Perez, President of the Board of Aldermen, who's here. We see an embrace, both at the state level and the local level, of this fundamental idea that the education that we offer our young people and their opportunities to attend and succeed in college will not only shape their lives, but will also define the future of our community's ability to compete for high-quality jobs in the growth industries of today and tomorrow, and to offer meaningful employment opportunities for the younger generation as they enter the workforce. So in a community that has too often been defined by our gaps, gaps between rich and poor, gaps between city and suburb, gaps between black and white, enhanced public education is understood as a key starting point for closing those gaps. And in a community whose identity has long been associated with educational excellence for the few, we now take great pride not only in being known as the home of Yale University, but also in the bold steps that we are taking to provide the best possible education at the secondary level and at the post-secondary level for the many. And let me repeat, I think this unity of purpose is unprecedented. It's almost 3 decades since I came to live and work in this community, and I have never before seen our leading private institutions acting in concert in this way or so aligned with public priorities. In my 12 years at the Foundation, I've not previously seen such clarity as to the community's shared philanthropic priorities. As a community, our strategies are aligned and our resources are aligned. And I probably don't need to tell all of you that in Greater New Haven, one has not always been able to say that. So we gather tonight at a moment of real hope, a moment of acting on our shared belief that when we as a community are pointed in the same direction, are working together, are tackling the tough issues, and are sharing our perspectives and our knowledge in ways that promote real inclusion, we can make lasting fundamental change happen. Excuse me, I would have had a lot more kisses on the cheek before if I wasn't carrying germs. The Community Foundation is enormously proud to be at the center of this effort through New Haven Promise and in a number of other ways as well. The Foundation has for 2 years now been the home of New Haven Promise, which is our largest single programmatic commitment. I am so pleased that Patricia Melton, 3 months into her job as Promise's Executive Director, is here. Where's Patricia? Along with several Promise scholars and their families. Patricia and her team know from their personal and professional experiences what is involved in making college success a reality for more of our students. They are working every day with teachers, with guidance counselors, administrators, to build a college-going culture in the New Haven schools. And most importantly, they are getting to know the students and engaging their families, because getting to college and succeeding in college are more than anything about personal aspirations. We'll hear more from these Promise scholars at the conclusion of the evening. New Haven Promise would not be happening without this unity of purpose that I've been speaking about. Yale University has made an extraordinary commitment to fund the Promise scholarships, and Yale New Haven Hospital, along with Wells Fargo, are deeply committed financially to Promise as well. Mayor DeStefano and I have the privilege of serving on the Promise board, along with 3 extraordinary higher education leaders: President Levin, Yale, President Papazian of Southern Connecticut, and President Kendrick of Gateway. The commitment of these leaders and their institutions is indispensable. Last month, as part of more than $2.4 million in responsive grants awarded by the Foundation, we provided program and operating support for a number of great organizations that are deeply involved with efforts to enhance educational outcomes in New Haven, including, and this is by no means a complete list, LEAP, Domus Kids, Achievement First, and Squash Haven. This continues a tradition of education grant-making at the Foundation that goes back virtually to our founding. It also ties us directly to the BOOST work being led by United Way of Greater New Haven, which is ensuring that New Haven students receive the support they need both in and out of school to achieve the best possible educational outcomes. The Foundation's commitment to the idea that education and employment opportunity are 2 sides of the same coin in this community today finds its most powerful expression in our 4-year, $1 million commitment to the Connecticut Center for Arts and Technology, or CONCAT. And Captain Highsmith, the chair of CONCAT, is here. Welcome, Carl. CONCAT is our 2nd largest programmatic commitment. CONCAT opened this year in the spring of 2012 in Science Park with its unique combination of after-school arts programming that is all about keeping at-risk New Haven and Hamden youth in school and vocational training for out-of-work adults. It is linked closely to career opportunities with major local employers, growing local employers, notably Yale New Haven Hospital. It connects us to leading efforts in cities around the country on these same issues. For all this progress and hopefulness, we can never lose sight of the challenges we face on this long, tough path of raising the level of student achievement in our community. Nor can we lose sight of the reality that sustaining this kind of unity of purpose over the long haul in the face of these challenges is even harder than building it in the first place. Recognizing this, the New Haven Promise Board is now designing and will in 2013 commission an evaluation of New Haven school change to date. This community needs and deserves a data-driven, credible, and independent analysis of the progress that's being made and of the changes that have to be made to assure continued progress. It will be one essential element of how we as a community sustain our focus on these issues. Data, analysis, evaluation, I know it can sound a little on the dry side, but for the foundation, what we know and how we share our knowledge with the community are central. As has always been true of our financial resources, so too can our community knowledge resources be a potent tool for engaging others in the challenges and opportunities of our community, and for building and sustaining the unity of purpose that is essential to achieving any of our goals, whether related to education or in any other area. The foundation is deeply invested in this idea. You can see that in the materials at your place. In partnership with other funders in the community, the foundation supported Data Haven this year to undertake a just completed community well-being survey. Full results will be released shortly. There is a tremendous amount of learning here, both in terms of the challenges we face and in terms of the depth of satisfaction with and commitment to the community that residents feel. This is our social capital, if you will. It's what we all draw on to do the work of community building. The Foundation's commitment to the power of community knowledge lives mostly online. In a little more than 2 years, we have built the GiveGreater website into a compendium of 212, at last count, comprehensive, detailed, highly informative profiles of local nonprofit organizations. What the people in this community need to know about how our community's work is being done can be found on GiveGreater. And we were pleased to learn this year when we surveyed our donors that the site is being used extensively as a knowledge vehicle. GiveGreater has also proven to be a powerful giving vehicle as well. More than 4,000 gifts were made during 36 hours of the Great Give last month. I hope many of you participated in that. And of which more than 1,500 of those 4,000 gifts were self-reported as first-time gifts by the donor to the participating nonprofit organization. Local nonprofits have told us that they need our help in identifying new donors and expanding their donor base, and GiveGreater is delivering this to the local nonprofit community. So everything I've talked about this evening, educational change and the commitments that the Foundation has made to it, the power of community knowledge to mobilize individual giving and to mobilize unity of purpose, is built on top of the foundation, pun intended, that 3 generations of donors have built since 1928. Our core work goes on, serving and reaching out to the donors in our community to continue to build the charitable endowment for this place, managing that endowment, acting as steward for past donors by honoring their visions in our grant making, and by serving as the community's largest grant maker, supporting the full array of charitable causes in this region, supporting institutions large and small, new and established, from the valley to the shoreline and all points in between. And as we near the end of 2012, I am pleased to be able to report to our community, to you all, that in all these ways the Community Foundation is strong and is growing. The Foundation today has assets of approximately $365 million in more than 900 separate charitable funds, an increase of almost $25 million since year-end 2011. The Foundation is on track to make more than $19 million in total grants from all these funds this year. By year-end, I expect that the Foundation will have received as much as $10 to $12 million in new charitable gifts this year, and an additional $7 million or more in transfers of existing charitable assets for management purposes. The Foundation's investments continue to perform well ahead of all our benchmarks, and the investment management services we offer to local nonprofits is yet another important way that the foundation enhances the community's charitable capital. Ultimately, notwithstanding all these numbers, the measure of the foundation's contribution to our community lies in our relationships with nonprofits and with donors, and how those relationships can mobilize change for today and build the capacity to do so for the future. This is what we do at the Community Foundation. And it is the Foundation's extraordinary staff, my colleagues, that make this happen. Working with them day in and day out is a great pleasure for me, and seeing their talents at work for the benefit of our community is a great source of pride for me as well. I can't mention everyone here, but I do want to acknowledge the Foundation's senior team: Drew Alden, Leon Bailey, Penny Canny, Angela Powers, and Dottie Weston Murphy. And a special thank you to Lee Higgins, who in her work with me and in her work with the board does so much to hold the whole place together day in and day out. Thank you. The Foundation is what it is, of course, because of the selfless service and commitment to the community of the work. These 11 community leaders, sitting right here in the front, understand that they have been entrusted with a precious community asset, and they embrace, rather than shrinking from the tough decisions that come with that responsibility. There is no shrinking at our work. They are the heirs to a great 84-year-old tradition of community service, and they continue it with passion and dedication. I would ask each of our board members to stand and be acknowledged for all you do. Jamie Cohen, Will Caldwell, Howard Hill, Andy Garcia Kaplan, Chip Long, Kika Matos, David Newton, Jim Perillo, Jimmy Ryan, Shelley Szynski, and Roland Young-Smith. Thank you. As our chair with extraordinary skill and care and sensitivity. As she prepares to step down from the chair at the end of this year, she remains on the board for 2 more years, don't forget. I do want to express my gratitude for her extraordinary leadership contributions. Roland, thank you. I am delighted to announce that the board has elevated its current vice chair, David Newton, to the chairmanship, and has elected Jim Perillo to the office of Vice Chair, both beginning in the new year. Congratulations. So with the sweet comes the bitter. Our annual meeting is sadly when we bid goodbye publicly to board members who are reaching the end of their 7-year term. This year, Andy Kaplan and Jamie Cohen comprise our departing group. To say they will be missed is to seriously understate case. They've each made singularly important contributions. Annie has brought the breadth of her perspectives as a former teacher, as a coordinator of volunteers at the hospital, as a Latina, as a Shoreline resident, as a dog lover. That's never far from the front. To her board service. And she's been a strong, cohesive force on the board. Over the last 2 years, she has been the first chair of our newly established Community Strategies and Knowledge Committee, and has blazed an important trail in that way, and I emphasized the importance of that in my earlier comments. So many of the decisions that we have made bear the mark of her wisdom. She's a wonderful colleague, and she has been and will continue to be a great friend. Thank you for everything. Jamie Cohen has had a unique dual role, both as a board member and simultaneously for the last 5 years as CEO of our affiliate, the Valley Community Foundation. Even as he leaves the board, he is also retiring from VCF. So we will be losing the benefit of his commitment, his experience, his wisdom, his relationships, and his judgment in both capacities virtually simultaneously. It's a huge loss, compensated only by the pleasure I have gotten from hearing him say on a number of occasions that this work of community philanthropy in both of these roles that he's had has been immensely rewarding for him and the right capstone to his career. Jamie, it's been immensely rewarding for me and for your colleagues as well. It's been an honor to be your partner, and thank you for everything. one more piece of board business, the happy task of announcing Annie and Jamie's successors. To succeed Annie, the board has appointed Alicia Caraballo, who is Director of Adult and Continuing Education for the New Haven Public Schools. Alicia will bring a lifetime of experience as an educator and a lifetime of devotion to community service to her board role, and we welcome her. And to succeed Jamie, Mayor DiStefano has appointed Emily Byrne, who is currently Director of Strategic Initiatives, working with Commissioner Pryor of the Connecticut Department of Education, and who until a year ago was the founding executive director of New Haven Promise and was a member of the foundation staff. So I extend a most heartfelt welcome on behalf of the whole institution and the community to Alicia and to Emily. So to return to our main topic of the evening, it is now my pleasure to introduce Stephen Pryor. For those of us who watch these developments on state education issues closely, it's quite amazing that Stephen has been Connecticut's Commissioner of Education for only a bit more than a year. In these 14 months, he has conceived, and with Governor Malloy, has pushed through adoption by the legislature a landmark, comprehensive education reform law that the Connecticut Council of Education Reform has called a giant step forward for Connecticut. He has reorganized his department, and he has succeeded in mobilizing the state in many levels on these issues in ways not previously seen. It is not an exaggeration to say that in Stephen Pryor's brief tenure, Connecticut has gone from being a laggard to becoming a leader in the national school reform movement. I won't list all of his previous positions. You have a brief biographical blurb in your program, I believe. But I will say that both as an educator, he's the son of 2 public school teachers and was co-founder and board member of Achievement First, now one of the nation's leading charter school management companies, and as one deeply steeped in the politics of making change happen. I refer to his experiences at the Lower Manhattan Development Corporation and in the city of Newark. Stephen brings extraordinary credentials to his work as commissioner. Everyone in Connecticut who cares about these education issues should feel fortunate that Stephen Pryor is back among us, but he's a powerful leader who's making a big difference for our young people. His professional travels may have taken him to New York and New Jersey over the years, but he's really a New Havener. He's home, he's back home, he lives right here in the Ninth Square, about a 2-minute walk from here, and he's a great friend to many of us in this community. Stephen, welcome again, and thank you for being here.